Hi everybody, thanks for joining. We're really looking forward to this webinar and to an active webinar to receive all of your questions and to answer them. As you can see and as you should know, or as you will know, we would like to talk about Confluence and in detail about how to get started with Confluence and how to use it as a knowledge base and as a collaboration tool. I'm Victoria, I'm a marketing manager at Actonic, and I will be the moderator for this webinar, and I will assist our speaker, Anton.
Hello.
Okay, so first, the agenda for today. We would like to start with what is Confluence and what is it used for, just to give people an overview, especially for those who have not used Confluence before. But then the main part will focus on the live demo today. So we will show you how to create spaces, how to create pages, and how to collaborate in Confluence. And as I said, at the end, we will have a question and answer round. So to get started, we would like to send in a short poll. It will only be one question. It's anonymous, so feel free to give us some feedback, to give us some answers. You will see a pop-up in the next couple of seconds on your screen. So we have quite a difference to the German webinar. So in this webinar, we now have some people that have been using Confluence before, roughly 21%. The rest only had a quick glance at the functions or is using it from time to time. Yeah, so we should definitely come back to this. Thanks. Okay, we can go to the next slide. And I think I can hand over to you, Anton.
Yeah, that's my part. So I will introduce myself very shortly. I'm Anton Enerson. I'm an Atlassian Consulting at Actonic, and I will guide you today through Confluence and the basic understanding of Confluence. And for that, we have to start with what is Confluence. And it's really simple said, because Confluence is a collaboration wiki tool, allows teams to work together more efficiently by sharing the information or the data they gather by their work. So you can create a single source of truth, like you read here. And with that, we can make the easy communication. That's not like in the picture. You see, oh, you talk on the one way and then on another way, and then it's, you have to talk, or you have to get information on different sources. You get it all in one bundle of knowledge with the Confluence page you create. Then, what is Confluence used for? It's really simple because we create our pages, spaces, and information, organize them in a logical manner so that everyone can cooperate and collaborate on our information and on the subjects we want to handle later. But for the understanding, we prepared a bit of a live demo. So we go through a few steps by creating space in Confluence, creating pages in Confluence, like parent pages and child pages. And we go later down and do a bit of cooperation and collaboration work in the Confluence pages. So I go into the live demo. For the live demo, we prepared the Actonic Cloud function, so it's not server. There may a few settings or a few differences between them both. So if you already use Confluence and use it on server, don't be confused. It's just because we use cloud that it's maybe look or feel a bit different. So, but what is the first thing we want to do? The first thing we want to do is we need our space where we can create and gather all our informations together. So we have all here, like the homepage, but I'm on the space button in the top. So we can have home, the reason, so where we left the spaces, we created the people, the apps, and the templates. And I want to create a space. So just click on space. And for that, you have to consider that the space is like a folder. There's a subject you want to handle in the space, like for normal people, taxes, companies, more like the newer risk management strategies you want to accomplish, or marketing, information gathering, and so on, and so on, and so on. So you have to be precise in the way you handle your space and what you want to create with your space. So always consider what the space should look like before you create your space. It's just a bit thinking ahead, so you do not have to do more work later. And Atlassian gives you with Confluence the possibility to easy make it with a few templates. And I want to use the knowledge base template. We can even go with a blank space and create everything from scratch, but I will use what Confluence is providing me with. So I go in here, and like I said, for example, we make risk management, and given it a key like risk, it's easy to understand, and the space key is really important because we can later verify with the key different pages and get them connected to. And what you consider too is the space name. Names in Confluence are very important because they can only be provided once. So you cannot make risk management like 7 spaces or pages later. It's just one name. So I create that. Just click on create to click it. And welcome to our landing page on our space risk management. You see, Atlassian gives with template a bit of an overview what can be on the landing page. But it's not that what we want. I want to make it a bit different for later. So I can just go in here on this little pencil, go and edit or press E if you want. And Atlassian just starts with explaining how I can do it. And what the first thing is popping up my eye is here the little hat here on the top, because it's nearly the same as in every text-based program like in Word or editor. You can choose your headings, the style of your writing, if it's bold, if it's cursive or italic, then numeric, which color should have, then a few macros that are easily to use now because it's an action item, it's not an action item, and so on. And you can use them later on. The thing, what I think is Confluence's biggest strength is the layout function. Because with the layout function, I can just, for example, I take this here and try to put it in here. That's not working because I just only get this text here. This macro is a bit of a nuance, so I'll go in with the info table and do not use that. So now you see, when you just play around, you lose everything. And the function that I really consider is the best function in it is the possibility to go back like you already used to when you're working with Word or other programs. Because if it's not Word, then how can you make it possible with back function? But I wanted to go my text in it, and then I did not get it to work because I'm a bit of sluggish here. So I wanted to info box. You saw the info box here in green. Now it's in blue. And I just use the text and drop it in there, and it will not work. Force of habit. So I will use my layout differently because I will just make what I want. No, I just go in here, go to the macros because I'm a bit uncertain what macros I wanted to use. And oh yeah, table of contents. That is what I was searching for. Why table of contents? Because I wanted to delete it. Go back. I want my table of contents to be a list of all the pages we create later on my head of my landing page of the space. So I can include it here for later. And it's a list, it's flat. No, it's only the list of all what is written down here, like you saw when I got on the edit. You see it in the little preview. You get a welcome, you get a search space, and then okay, I'll choose the wrong list of tables. So I go back in, just search again, and with a few more, you can search for a lot of tables, like table of content we already had, like content report table, and all other functions that is possible to include in here. And there you have to consider my language barrier. I have to search for a word that I'm not sure about now. So leave it with table of content or just delete it completely. And yeah, I will leave it like that for first. I make the spaces a bit more wide, like here, because it's to narrow it down. I wanted to more a wider field, and I just wanted to look at it. So I go in for the 3 dots, and then go on the preview. And then I see, okay, this is how it will look. And it's okay that it's fine. All the information can be put in later. I just wanted to create it. So I go to publish. I did not change anything really much because it's the landing page. I have to define it more precise at the beginning when I start something. But for us now, it just leave it like that because that's all to it to create a space. You create a space, get a template or just empty, and then fill it with information you need. The big part comes to it when you want to create your pages. So the pages are where you really put in the information you consider are important for all for the project and for team you want to consider in. So for that, you can just go on to create. And for that, you have to consider also that we were at first here on the overview. If we are on the overview and go to create, we will create a page directly under the space. So the first page under it, like you see here, pages. It's like the first one. And you can make a lot, like with subjects, like meeting. We consider here information about meeting. So when I publish it, I make it really fast for one. You see here, this is the meeting, the page with the meeting. And when I'm on this page with the meeting and click create again, then you see here in the breadcrumbs that I'm in risk management, meetings. And under that, I will create a page with a title. But this is not what I want. I want a page created under risk management. So did I make a mistake? Or do I have to consider it to make it differently? And yeah, we do it different because I go into the 3 dots on the top and move my page. And I want my page under risk management. I can even move it to a different space if I want to, but I want to be in the risk management. So I save it and you see the backgrounds changed. So for that, I will create a plan or planning page. Wow. So, and for that, I will just use the 90-day template because it's easy to use and easy to consider because I can now, like Confluence already provided me with information and functions I can give this page. So, for example, hi people. So I can say hi team. Or I can address someone. Like I go in and say hi Victoria. Because this page of planning is with her. And for that, I go in and make a task. Why a task? Because I want that she can give me a task report. On a task report, sorry. A little check mark here. And with, can you gather? Can you? Few infos. About the plan. It's the big plan we all have to consider. So with that, I get Victoria on the board so she can look at the page. And from my side is it's already narrowed down again. So I wanted to make it wider. And I want to consider an image in here. So I just go in here, where's my images? There's no image. Why is there no image? I want an image. There's files and images. A cool function in Confluence is if you have files and images like this one, you can just go in here and sorry, I have a little bit with the throat. If it's published, for example, we have these three dots again. And if you do not want to get all the attachment and everything loaded up, so all the time you have to get on your PC, on the shared drives or anything, so you can look in here, go to attachment and just upload files. Like I just use this little penguin here. Attach, and I can attach already informations and files I want to use later on my pages, or better said, on my page space or in this particular page. So for that, you see here the breadcrumbs again. We see the attachment is now here. So I get the emperor penguin already in my planning page, and without to consider where I have to get it. So if I go to the function again, add it a bit around, get an image, or files and images. I do not want that. Whereas again, it's a bit different when I use in German. So just change it in here, take the emperor penguin from here, just put the picture down, and the picture is added in. Because I can get a lot of images and a lot of pictures on it, like videos and other functions. And what one thing is, I consider one of the best things in Confluence 2 is not only the layouts, it's the function with the table and layouts together. Because we see I have to scroll a lot down to get the first information of my planning from my head. So I consider this here as another text I want to use. So I don't know what happens at the moment. So that's just a text. That is a text to put information later. And oh, I see Vicky is already here and did already collect a few informations about the plan. That's awesome. And that's one feature that is provided by Confluence, this collaboration tool, the collaboration function. Because we cannot see live when Wiki is changing, and Wiki sees live what I'm changing and sees where my cursor is. So we can work together on a few things, just like we were together on one spot, like in a conference room, and work together a plan on how to get all things together. Just via Confluence. Without big problems, it's easy to configure and design everything like your team needs to want it. So she can, for example, ask me questions here too, or gives me information and I have to adjust it. For example, quick links is more for me like not an information, for more like a guide here. So I changed them in this way. I changed them up in numbers because first is technical support, second is my payroll and benefits, and the third is the people directory. So just a quick change. And but for that, I make something too. I just created a link. And so get Vicky involved again. But this time a bit different. Because it's safe. So that's the meeting point. So I get provided here link. And sorry. And I just mark this for me and make an inline comment. Oh, it's already made an inline comment on top here. You see it with the highlight. So Victoria already highlighted it with can you collect few informations? She checked it and she gave me a comment that she had already done it. So perfect. I'm fine with that. So we go back to our configuration and on our goal to make it a bit more a better overview. For example, the guiding and everything. So I put my cursor down here next to this little emoji that was put in here, get my layouts, free layout, and make a bit wider again. Why make it wider? What is the thing that I make it wider all the time? It's a habit of mine because I consider information to be visible on one page on my screen as much as possible, so I can more look into I can read it more easily and not just search for it. So I have to scroll down, scroll up. So my habit of it is doing it like this and putting it in on a few different ways. And I do not need these emojis. You can create emojis easily with the emoji function on the top if you want. You can search for them. I'm not the emoji guy. I don't even like it in my emails or something. But I know people like them, so you can use it. It's no problem. But for me now, I just use everything like that. And now put everything in on one page. So, okay, now I have this free going. So I just look at it. I was looking. So that's what I meant. I just have like this little scroll here. Everything is more on one page, and I have more of the overview here because there's not much information. I get it already. So yeah, for me, it's a better overview just to see it in one page. Okay. Then what is important for me, the outcome of the steps, I just will edit it again because the fun thing is tables are really easy to configure. We have like this little arrow here, the cell options, like the background color, we can change it. We can make it green, for example, or on the top, like you saw here, in more the yellow function. But I will just stick to the gray. I will just stick to the gray. And you can change every color of the table or just click on here and delete it easily, but go back a bit too fast. So remove the rows, or if you click on the self again, you can even see Atlassian or Confluence, better said, will highlight what you will remove from it. So we do not remove like I did, just instantly everything, but I can even clear just text. I can make it wider again, wider, or squeeze it up together. And yeah, but that's fine. I consider this as first of all, a good page. But under this planning page, I need more information. I need a new things for it. And for that, because we are in risk management, I just go here through my templates and ignore that and just import a Word document because it's easy. And for all of you, Word is really good to just write everything down, and you see everything is gathered here really fast. I even get my header. That's the headline of the Word page, and you see, okay, I have all the information here written down. I can go in here, mark my word, make a header 1. Go in here, mark it, header 1, because that's are the headers. I have a few underlining tones here that's I can consider later. But for me now, I just header. These 3 ends, I want more that they are more precise. So that they are not written more separate to each other. So I'd get this little line here. It's not visible really well from the beginning, but later you can see you see it more when you read through a text. I'll just remove that. And because I'm under here, I just get layout again. It's a 2-layer layout. So just remove it back here. Get this back here, because consider what I said. It's more easy if I see it on one page and divide it better and not just squeezed in like this. So for me, it's working better this way. So, but what I can do, I just want a quick information guide like we did before, template of content. So now I go to publish and see. Okay, I have my, it's all in German, for that I have to excuse, but I could not provide an English one. So it just means here is the first one here on the top. The second is the second one here. Third is the third one here. And this is a pivot report. And the pivot report is one thing is important with the pivot report. And it's a Jira function, but more a Jira ticket. So I go in here, and Confluence is part of Atlassian Toolkit. So you can consider that Jira is well working with Confluence. And I can just create here a new issue. You can even go to one of my projects that is already concluded. But consider you have to, your user need rights in the other instance to work with it. So if you now have a right to do it, you cannot. And I get a summary with just space blueprint, just insert. Because this playground, I can do that. And now ticket was created and linked to it. So I go publish. And when I go down here, you see I'm instantly in the Jira software, but it's still set in German. So I go back in our Confluence, and what you saw was a quick markup of everything. I just get around a lot and was jumping around a lot. So do not consider it confusing, because when you create something, you're always a bit of in a hassle of the information, how you get it and how it looks. You will change it a lot, even if you're not consider in a preview. You just, I see that the pivot report, it's not what I want. But to change it now would maybe take too long, so I will consider it for later. Or there is the function that is really good, like with the comment. I can get here and comment and can even here add Wiki to it. And get in the comment, Wiki, to know, like, can you look better? And save it. And because I did that, you can now get a message and see, okay, I get a comment on this function and mark this, and C can see, okay, I have to make it better. It looks better. Or that the information is, just looks good, and everything is right, written down without a problem. So I would consider that a win. But I wanted to change one thing again, because we have this pivot here and this space. Let's just change it to English and name it space. And for that, I just get a table. You can just, again, consider here the little tabs, or make it with the micro functions with the brackets. And I just, like I did before, I can just move parts in here by drag and drop then. Like you saw on the early thing, I was moving around a lot and tried to put the parts in there. A few macros are not working this way. You have to consider just copy and paste them in instead of moving them in. So do not hesitate to try out later, and I'll just remove that. So it's not this. So, okay. One thing is cool. I now see here, I marked it the whole time with a comment. The comment is gone now. So what does it mean? Don't know. Show inline comments. There is no inline comment anymore, because already was accomplished by Wiki with done. No, it was the one before. And the one here, but she did it, or she changed it up. She commanded it again and said, sure, she will do it. Perfect. So I can rest at ease that she will clean up the mess I left behind for her. I'm not joking. You should never leave a mess behind, but this is the good part. She was able to comment on my on my comment without everyone knowing down here. I can like this page. I can comment here down, nice information and everything, and add labels to it to make it more visible in the search function for my colleagues. But when I'm working on it, and I consider this page is already in the progress, and a lot of people can see it, but not can work on it, then it's the comment what we saw here, the best function to communicate with your colleagues to make the information here more transparent between you and the working colleagues on this project. And for all of them that are looking, that's a lot of nice thing you did with the template, but what will it look like later? For that, we have like this little Confluence page space created. And you heard me saying before that there are sub pages, or better named in Confluence, parent and child pages. So for that, here are the parent and child pages. And for use case, for example, you go to your project manager, you need to build your process. This is a process that is made in Confluence, but server function with a add-on. So you can even make a process like all the others, and you can status updates, meeting notes. You can all get it here in one way, on one space under one page. So you have your parent page named in Confluence, the project management, and then you have your child pages, process, status, and meetings. And you can even go further. You can do it for marketing. You can do it for consulting. What I think is the best part, because when I have to take over from a colleague and he, because he gets ill, he has a vacation, or something happens, or he has a urgent project he has to attend to more, then here I can get the customer meeting notes and, customer John Doe, and get the meeting notes and see what he already talked over with the customer. And I am completely in a complete overview and information. So that's one way of communicating with your colleagues so that he will not be left behind when he has to take over projects. Or development. With the project development, I have to move there. Something is in the way from my TV screen. Or like management, onboarding, reporting statistics, and employer to-do lists. So you see, a lot of functions can be built up in Confluence, and much more than we can consider here now. So I will go back now to the presentation, and we go to the FHQ. So we can consider a few of your questions. I think there were a few incoming. And for that, I will leave the Victoria back to speaking. But before that, I wanted to tell you that, like what you saw with the inline comments, and I considered it before, this is like applications. Applications you can use with Confluence or with Atlassian toolkit, like the GDPR from Actonic, or this inline table editing that is like what you saw with the commenting in the page where it was highlighted yellow. You can inline that in a table directly without anyone seeing it, or editing the table without open the edit function, but it's only on server. So a few functions. And so, Victoria, I give it back to you. I hope it's fine.
Yes, thank you. I think we're right on time. So staying with the topic apps or plugins, we've received some questions and some comments how you did specific things and how you changed them. As you just explained, we have been using, or we are using day by day, some apps from the marketplace. They are either our own apps, as you can see on the screen right now, or they are apps from partners. So if you're interested in a specific topic and you would like to create some templates and some specific Confluence pages, please let us know and we will reach out to other vendors and talk to them. I am currently writing back to someone having a specific question, so I will be happy to provide you some answers to that. Some other questions we received, let me check. We had a question, can we rename spaces and pages? If yes, how? Could you maybe go back and just change?
That's a good question. because I was when I changed a lot of things from German to English, I hit it a question again, and it's really easy to do because we have this little button when we're on the space with named space settings. In space settings, there we get administration functions rolling, and we can edit our space details. And with that, with the editing of space details, we can rename it, but only the name of our space or the pages later, but not the key. So you see here on the top, there's equals this key. We cannot rename it in here. We can rename it on a different page, but you need all the global administration function for that. And we can even change the homepage name. So yeah,
And
we can do that.
Can be renamed simply by going into the headline, right? Or child pages. You just go into
pages. If you have edit rights, then you can just go in here, edit, and just rename it like no meeting. So many fantasy. But you have to consider that when you rename it, this name can only appear once. Only once. I cannot have pages in the space that have the same name. I cannot have like meeting. It has to be meeting 1, meeting 2, or in other consideration with number or exclamation marks or something. Yeah.
And then some alert will pop up, right? If you try to rename something and the name is already
if the name is already used, then it's like, for example, I go in here again and name it planning. Like I have a page named planning. I have to write it wrong and try to publish it. I get this little message down here, a name already exists. So you can't even not name it twice. It's not possible. It will not let you. Confluence is there really strict in it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. If not, please send in the question once more. Another question has been, let me check, if there are resources available that help with editing. So for example, editing different pages, editing different spaces. I think most likely apps will do, right?
Yeah, the Confluence has a lot of application features or add-ons that you can install in the app market from Atlassian. To consider more like the fine-tuning, you see the header here. It's and how it's built up. You can change that. For pages and templates, for example, there are a few other products there with add-ons that helps you to edit everything to a certain degree, but you have to consider that you have to maintain it too. So it can be looking really good at the end, but the back end will really hard working. But yeah, it's possible with different applications too to edit it further.
Okay.
Or is it like the question was?
Yeah, I think you just answered it. Let's move on to another question. Can Jira tickets be displayed in Confluence?
With the function I showed in the planning, here you have like the ticket shown, like it's on the name. The whole ticket itself is, I think, the question that is to consider here. There's only possible the Jira macros that are shown here, like label gadget, where you see the labels, advanced roadmaps from Jira Plan, Jira Roadmap, issue calendar, roadmaps in total, or the charts. But for the normal function of Jira, I only see that there is a ticket in Jira, and I can click on it, but I see not the information of the ticket completely in it.
And there is no workaround for it, right? That's the
you can work with Script Runner and other add-ons too to implement more details from your Jira ticket.
Okay, so there is a workaround. Sorry, I got that wrong then.
Yeah, there is a workaround.
Great. Another question that we got was if other teammates will be able to see Confluence pages if they don't have the license?
That is to consider how you determine the rights to the page. I already showed space settings, and the space settings are the permissions. And in the permissions, there is one function. You see that blurred out because this is like the 10 users guide. You see down here the anonymous. And if you use that and go to view all, then all your colleagues can see the Confluence pages, but cannot edit it. And this has to be considered for every space and every page you create. You have to consider the permissions to it. So we worked around with the normal standard default settings of Confluence. But if you work with it, I really you should think about how to consider who should see which page in which space, what he sees, and what can he do. So even for me, an administrator in it, I have to consider all the time who gets the information notifications around, because if I change something, I do not want that my whole company gets a message because I just changed a typo.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Another question that we got is if you're able to create templates with predetermined parent-child relations. So are you only able to create templates with content, or can you predefine the parent and the child pages?
I think I have to go to more much in depth with the settings of the Confluence and template settings itself, and I think it's taking too much time. But we take these questions and give you an appropriate answer then to a later point.
Yes, good idea. Okay, another question that we got: if it's possible to export pages.
Oh yeah. I didn't show that, and I think that's one of my favorite functions because we have a meeting with your boss, and he needs papers. Perfect for it. So it's easy to do it just with the 3 dots we saw before. When you choose a page or a parent page and go to export, and you get to export it in Word or in PDF. And I will consider only PDF because PDF takes the wiki markups that we have here. That's the templates, it's the pictures, even the info box we have here. PDF is able to show it. So you have the page like you see it here in a PDF. With Word, it's only plain text. So, but yeah, it's possible to export.
Okay. And I think you showed it before, but maybe you could go back to it once more. Is it possible to add attachments?
Oh yeah, attachment is able to add, and I will show it because you see I have on planning this penguin in here. So I go to the child page, and when I go to the 3 dots for the more actions, I see this attachments, and you see there's 0. When I go back to planning, there you see there's 1 attachment. Like I showed, you can just attach parts with, you go into edit mode, get the macro, go just top here again, down here, and just edit with the file in all the macros. So when I go in here and make file, I have like, it's too much. I just go in here and make it faster. So files and images. So I can just go in here and just add like this text-based file. It's included. I publish it. Someone can pick it up just by clicking on it. Then he sees the plain text, or even how it looks like. So if you saw before, that was a word in import what we did, and it not takes like the stylus with it. So you have to consider it. And so the same can you do with pictures, but you can also attach to certain pages pictures you can consider later, like in attachments and that I showed, I think, but really short. I can just upload them here. And open it, attach to it, and then the file is always on this page. And I can, I do not have this delays with loading and everything. Yeah. Okay. These are the 2 ways to attach attachments.
Yes, someone was just mentioning that he is not able to add macros when typing in /. I guess it's because he's using server, right? You're currently on Confluence Cloud, and that's the Confluence Cloud function.
Yeah, that's one thing. I always get this messed up when I'm switching between instances. If you want to make it in a server, you do not use slash. You use this. I don't know how what the English name for it is. I will just type it in if it's okay. So you use this here. Um, the wave bracket
curly
or
bracket,
curly bracket.
curly bracket. Yeah.
I think it is. With that, you open the macro function on server side.
Great.
Or if you want to know, you can even, and that is possible if you go on top of here under your plus, then you see how to insert it fast. That is, there's this shown.
Yeah, maybe you could open the macro list once more. Some people would like to have a look just to see what's currently in there. But then, of course, we also have the view more, right? So there are quite a few things. They are already listed in a manner. So on the left side, you can see some topics that you can navigate through, and then on the right, you have a lot of options to create templates to use for your daily business, for specific meetings. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's Confluence gives you a lot of macros to begin with, and it's a lot of free macros you can even use from the marketplace that are then listed up here. So if you want to try out and figure out what's the best for you, I would really recommend just get in the marketplace for once and just look what's and type in what you want, for example, and just test it out with the macros. And but I think the standard that Confluence is delivering is a lot, really a lot. It's when we go to the media, for example, we have like the standards, but I think that's enough for the plain information you want to give the people. Like I was searching before and I had for the page index, and I should have get to navigation and then here on page index because I did not know how to type it in the fast search function. And yeah, just test it out. I think it's really fine, cool what is possible.
Okay. Yes, someone was just asking if we could create a page using our add-ons. As I think you mentioned it when you showed it on the presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Our add-ons are currently available for server and data center and not for cloud. That's why we are not showing them here in this demo. But if you would be interested in them, feel free to just reach out to us and we will present them to you.
Yes. Sadly, but we're working on it. That's going to be implemented in cloud.
Okay, another question that we got, going back to using the same title for pages, if it would be possible to use the same title when it's in different spaces. I think the search bar is only connected to a specific space, right? And if the spaces are connected, then it's going to be...
I'll just make it easy because we are here in this space, risk management. So I go in the other we were before and just create a page and I copied the name. So we see what happens. So if I go here and just type in here a test and publish, you see that is not a problem. That's because Vicky mentioned it before. That's the search function in Confluence and the search possibility. So yeah, in spaces, because it's a separated space, it's only included in itself. You can use the same naming, but you have to consider if you're searching between spaces and you want to link to them, because that's possible. You can go in and say, okay, I want search index or information scattered from a different page. Like we have with this status, it was, what was it? So for example, page tree, if you go in there, you have like the root pages. If you have this often same names and the same spaces, or with the, then you can maybe be confused. So consider that you try to be more precise with your naming. I know that feeling to name everything the same. But it even is possible if you just go with like an underline or a minus, a plus or anything, that is considered a different name. So yeah, but it comes when you have like 600 pages and then you have like 400 of them named same. That's in different spaces that get confusing. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So we are still sticking to what you said before, right? To work with unique names.
It doesn't mean unique in the way of it has always been a unique name. Like I said before, just name it with a number or other listing to it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I get the question right, so please, to the person sending it in, correct me. But I think someone is asking if linking Jira and Confluence is automatically linking then pages to tickets and the other way around, or if you have to do it manually. So if you create a link in Confluence or a ticket in Confluence, it's not, is it creating a Jira ticket and vice versa? So if you mention a Confluence page, is it then linking your ticket to the Confluence page?
From Confluence to Jira, is it possible to mention a ticket? And it's already mentioned with via the issue links in Jira. So you see even here there's named Confluence page. When you do it on Jira, you have to choose the space you want to create your ticket in and the page you want to link your ticket in. So you have to go in manually, or like we mentioned before with a script runner to make it in a transition, for example. But it had to be defined in which space and page it should be linked to. So it's not just automatically just putting it in. That would be chaos. But I know where the question comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're using it daily, right? We're linking Confluence and Jira
all the time.
Yeah, and it makes collaborating easier, and people get the information that they need just by going into your ticket, and then they will be forwarded to Confluence automatically. So it's really helpful.
So when the link is established, then it's really a powerful tool and a powerful function. But to the link, to establish the link, you have to do a few steps, but not much.
Mm-hmm. Someone is explaining their use case. So they would like to create a Q&A, and people should then give their answers. And he's asking if the standard functions in Confluence would be enough, or if he would or she would need some kind of add-on. I think we have to talk about your use case in more detail. So Anton already showed how collaborations work and how you could add comments and get people involved in your pages. So I'm not sure if an add-on is needed. Maybe you can say a few more words about that. But he also showed how permissions work, so you can forward Confluence pages to people not using Confluence. You can export things, so the standard functions could work.
Yeah, that's, I think that the use case is important to understand here, because like I mentioned with the permission, you can clearly say, okay, you can work with people, but what if the Q&A and people only have few rights, for example, for this Q&A, and then they can just see what happens, but cannot interact. So yeah, we have to analyze the use case more precise to give there a right answer. But yeah, reach out to us for that.
Mm-hmm. Someone has been asking if you can link spaces with each other.
Yeah, spaces are linkable, but I have just to figure out how at the moment. Yes. If you go in, there's, for example, the one macro function with the space list, where you can add spaces to one page and just say, okay, here's a page. Here are the spaces to it. You can even edit it with space scope. So is it all categories or only your favorites? And the size of the list just. What you can do too is you can use, and I have to go here for close. For example, I go in here in my Confluence page and just get the link of this page. So you can make a space, space linking possible if you just link it to it. So the address, and then I just go in here, type it in here, and publish it. So with that, you can consider the link to be established between spaces. Or with the table content, like you saw before with the pages, you can consider different spaces to edit. So I go in here and I got this table of contents. And there was it possible, for example, to list the output of styles, headings, and different. And I did select the wrong macro again. So I go in here, navigation, and you can use the live search, for example, to link pages and spaces together, not only pages, contents, or other functions. And there's a few ways to do that. But you cannot just show one space to another. And for that, there's but a few macros you have to get with add-ons in a marketplace. Yeah.
Great. Okay, I think there's still a few more open questions, but as far as I understand, most of them will be answered more precisely written. So we will take them with us and we will answer them, and we will send you the recording as well as your answered questions afterwards. Anton, you could just maybe switch to the presentation so that people get the email address. So I think for now we are done. As I said, we will take all of your questions with us and we will answer them. We would just be interested in one more thing. Maybe you could stick with us for 1 or 2 more minutes. So we have one final poll that we would like to send in, just to see what other topics you would be interested in. So same procedure, you will see a pop-up in the next couple of seconds. Feel free, it's anonymous again. Just give us some more ideas for further webinars, and we will let you know when they will happen. Yes, and on the screen now you can see our contact details, so please feel free to schedule a free initial meeting with us, send in some more questions. We would be happy to present you Confluence in more detail in a free demo and answer your questions, show you the answers and the macros for your use cases. So just get in contact with us. And as I said at the beginning, or as I've written in the beginning, we will record this webinar and we will send it to you afterwards and answer probably all of your questions, but especially those that we didn't answer right now in a Q&A. Okay, that's it from my side. I think we will stick we will stay in here for a couple more minutes. If you have some questions, send them in and we will gather them, we will collect them. It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank you very much.